Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Weekly Tangents. This week, Jonathan.
This week, Dylan.
This week.
Okay, are we cutting this out or leaving
No,
it in?
I'm doing this intentionally because I want to see what is said. We're gonna do a Would You Rather game. I have some questions here. Not sure if we'll go through all of them. Hopefully, we don't go through more than all of them. But yeah, just some fun prompted Would You Rather questions.
You know, I actually genuinely like the game Would You Rather when it stays on topic about hypotheticals and doesn't devolve into like pure terrible things that I'm not going to give examples of.
Yeah, well, I was tempted to put in like the stereotypical would you rather have dick-sized nipples or nipple-sized dicks, but I thought of like, there's not too much expanding that we can do off of that. So I just made my own questions that I feel like we can actually talk a decent bit about.
You sure you didn't write the setup and then let AI finish that?
I mean, that might be a good one. I do have one question in here that's just kind of a fuck you question, but everything else is relatively normal.
Okay, got it. I'm waiting for Jonathan. Would you rather drop out of high school or drop out of university?
I mean, that is on the general wavelength of the one
Oh my
question.
goodness, I fucking knew it. You were predictable, Dylan.
Well, it's not that exactly. I mean, I guess as my first side question that's a would you rather is would you rather me keep in that really awkward intro or cut it out?
You know, fuck it. Let's keep it in. Like, see if anyone stays past the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just so Jonathan ...
Well, also, first 10 seconds is mostly just the intro goes do 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 something
Yeah,
like that.
I forget because at this point in time we don't hear the intro. But you're right. When I actually do edit it, that's the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, I like to imagine it there, and then I don't know. It just makes me feel happy inside.
Yeah, fair enough. So, all right, let's kick it off with Jonathan. Would you rather have a small podcast so that no one knows, much like this one, or a huge podcast with like 90% bad comments and reception? Everyone fucking hates it, but it's huge and you get sponsors.
I would absolutely go off the latter one because one, I can make a living off of it, but more importantly, it could make my spin-off show Everybody Hates Jonathan, which, I'm going to try and directly rip off of Everybody Hates Chris, including all the like racial tension and good like lessons that they try to teach, but applied to my life.
Okay.
And I get hated on and canceled for that, but still get sponsors for that. So really, I'm just like doubling down on everything and making twice the money.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, you're definitely keeping the bad reception with your spin-off idea. But
all jokes aside, do you want me to give a legitimate answer?
Yeah, go for it.
I admittedly do think I would get pretty sensitive about it. Like, I don't really care what people think of me in general, but like, it would suck if like I put effort into something and it just got universally shit on. But granted, I'd still rather have that than have to work for a living.
Yeah,
So,
that was what I was thinking as well. Of like, I definitely wouldn't enjoy that, but as long as just because the general reception is bad doesn't mean that we're not enjoying it. And if it's still something that you and I enjoy to make, and people shit on in general, but we're making money off of it, it's just like, hey, that checks two good boxes in one bad box. So as long as it doesn't get to like the next level bad, where it's like, okay, people are like swatting us and shit like that, then maybe I'd have to reconsider.
okay, but hear me out. How much is being swatted worth? Like, let's say $1 million or something, 500,000.
Honestly, that is a good question. For me to like be able to get swatted, like honestly, if I was making 10K a month, if the swatting didn't happen more than like twice a year, I'd probably be down for that. As long as I don't actually get shot and it's just like, them coming in and saying like, fuck you, get out of the room, let's check for a bomb. Okay, there's nothing here.
I was literally gonna say, like, once we made about 100K, then I'd be okay with being fucking taken down by a SWAT team.
So you're fine with like actually just being taken down.
I don't care if they like take me down, handcuff me, fucking throw me out my window or something. It should be noted I live in a 1-story house, so I don't get any ideas here, people. But you get the idea. I think 100K. No, I do it for less than 100 if I'm being honest. Like, honestly. If we made like 15 or 20, I'd be okay with it.
All right, well then, Jonathan, why don't we do this? Because I posed it as a hypothetical, but let's be real. If we just like do blackface and say just the worst of things and post it on TikTok, we're bound to get enough people to like view that and hate
So,
watch it that we
you
could
mean if
probably
I
pull this
try to do
off.
my Everybody Hates Chris reboot?
Exactly.
Ah, oh, what a great idea. I think this is the way we're gonna catapult into becoming famous.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for my next question, it's a little bit less meta. It's not about podcasts, but I feel like this is a good one. Maybe not for you because you're a very boring person, and we'll see that in this question.
Hey
But
now.
so, would you rather have a perfect 10 out of 10 game come out once every 5 years, 10 out of 10 in your opinion, but every other game is like poor quality, 4 out of 10 or lower?
Oh
Or
god, I know why you think I'm gonna I know what you're
yeah,
gonna
exactly.
okay.
Or never have a 10 out of 10 game come out, but every other game is like a solid 7 out of 10 game.
Okay. So at first I thought you were saying like I would be making it, but now I realize you mean just in general for me to play.
Yes,
So, okay, the reason I know you're gonna say I live a boring life is because I only play one game every 5 years anyways, it
that is
feels
exactly
like.
my point. So for you, it's like, hey, one game every 5 years, 10 out of 10. Like, that's basically what I'm doing anyway, except they're not 10
Okay.
out of 10s.
Okay, but hear me out. One, Steins Gate is a 10 out of 10. Best anime ever, even though I never watched the anime. But point being, um, uh, uh, once I get my Everybody Hates Chris reboot going, I'm gonna have time to play more games. So under that scenario, oh boy. Honestly, I think I
I'm
okay,
glad. It
sorry.
sounds like you're struggling a bit,
No, I
which,
was
that's what I
struggling
want out of these.
because
So,
I was thinking like growing up, we've talked about like whether we would like a life that's more pinball or is consistently kind of mid. And I think we both at various points said we would like something more ups and downs. At least we have the ups to remember.
yeah.
I'm kind of just thinking like in terms of video games, I'm usually pretty easy to entertain as long as like I can only think of very few games in my entire life that I haven't actually enjoyed. So I think if I just
Yeah.
had consistently like good but not great games, I'd probably just be happy in general.
Honestly, I agree, or at least I understand with what you're saying. Because I remember when you were living at my house during the beginning of COVID, and
Okay.
you played that one like free to play game for 4 hours. That was
Caravan
just a piece of shit.
stories.
Yeah, just so you could get some like easy gold trophies on the PS4.
It was mildly fun, like because
Yeah,
of
and
how
that's all
bad
you
it
need.
was. Well, I'm generally not hard to entertain. Like TV shows, I generally like most TV shows. I go into most movies blind. I generally like most movies. Like it's just not all that hard to please me. Like don't get me wrong, I would love a 10 out of 10 thing. Maybe the argument then is if I already like shitty things anyways, maybe the shitty things wouldn't be too bad. But I'm assuming it's so bad to like counteract the so good, so I wouldn't even enjoy it.
Yeah, it would essentially be you get one game every 5 years because the other
Mhm.
ones would be bad enough quality that unless you're purposely like hate playing something, that it's just not going to be fun.
I think I would take consistently mid because like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, pretty good game, not great. I liked it. I would play it again. Like Prototype, pretty decent game, kind of fun. I liked it. Would play it again. That's just a lot of games I played. I'm gonna go with that option. How about you though?
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that you answered what you did, but for me, I'm doing the flip flop as well of probably what you would expect is I'd go for the 10 out of 10 game every 5 years just
Really?
because yeah, because for me like I feel bad enough as it is with how many games that are in my back catalog on Steam or console and all that stuff. And I'll play a game, but then I'll play it for like 3 or 4 hours and get back to it like 8 months later. I think that's what I did with Octopath Traveler. There's some games that I've started and stopped a lot of times. So I don't know. For me, it's not like games are my only source of entertainment. I enjoy YouTube, movies. I have my like webtoons, manga, all of that stuff. So for me, having that 10 out of 10 game every 5 years, that would just be super quality. I don't have tons of time for games, so I could dedicate myself to that as opposed to if every game 7 out of 10, then it's like, what the fuck do I choose? Because nothing stands out above the rest. They're all the same quality.
So you're inadvertently forcing yourself to have a life, is what you're saying.
Yeah, more or less. It's just like, man, either constantly never finish games and never know what to play because they're all going to be the same quality, or just like once every 5 years. But it's also nice from like a from a go back and play standpoint, because in 30 years in the future you'll have 6 10 out of 10 games that you could look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember this one, let's jump at this one, where otherwise, like, for you in 30 years you're like, great, I have 10,007 out of 10 games, like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, actually, I find that point kind of interesting because, like, there are some games I've absolutely loved to death, like Nier Automata, Red Dead Redemption 2, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go down the long list, but just like, surprisingly, I've never replayed many games other than like from my childhood because I'm like trying to re-experience it, like see if they hold up. But like anything like post 13 years old, I haven't like replayed a single game off the top of my head. Like, have you actually gone back and replayed like a like story-based game, not a multiplayer-based one?
Yeah, I've done that with a lot of emulated games, which I definitely own and pay for. um,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with like Wind Waker. I mean, you saw me play that even if I didn't complete it. I
Oh
played through a
yeah.
lot of it during COVID, like different Digimon games for the DS and stuff like that. So for me, there's a good amount of them just because you don't have to worry about searching for if you like a game or not if you already have the nostalgia and know that you do like it.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I was intentionally leaving those out when I was like saying anything post 13. But granted, like keeping those in mind, no, I've replayed the shit out of my childhood games. I still love those to this day. They hold up, darn it.
Yeah. Yeah, but all right. Well, I'm interested with that. And with this next one, this one is super easy to know my viewpoint on, but I'll be interested for yours, which
Uh-huh.
is every week you have to choose one meal and you eat that meal for breakfast, lunch, dinner for the entire week. And then new week comes and you choose a new meal. Or every week, every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, has to have completely different ingredients. So you have basically maximum variety every week or a minimum variety every week.
Oh shoot. So like if I have like bread in one meal, I have to avoid anything with any sort of bread related product for the rest of the week.
It doesn't have to be like that far, but like if you have white bread, you can't have that for something else. Like garlic bread is going to be different than like rye
Oh.
loaf. But if you have like a burger that has like lettuce and tomato on it, then you can't have a salad for the rest of the week unless you're using spinach in that salad or something.
Okay, well you are obviously choosing the former knowing you. And
Yeah, for me, considering that like throughout my entire school experience, I ate like a peanut butter sandwich every single day. Like, I don't have too much of an issue for that. I'd
dude,
probably get a little bit bored, but it's bearable for me. But
I
you're lazy, so you don't want to cook a lot of stuff. But also, you would like a lot more foods than I do, so I feel like you'd get pretty damn bored.
well, pretty importantly, I have a massive case of food fatigue, even with food that I love. Like, if I have the same food, like if I have, I don't know, I'll just throw out, I don't know, if I just have like a good lasagna, I cannot have lasagna for like 2 or 3 weeks minimum. Otherwise, I'm like, I have the same food all the time, even if that's the only meal that repeated. Like, I just cannot stand it. Like, it is awful. I don't know what is wrong with me. It's made my life very miserable, especially when I go out to eat with people. They're like, what do you want? Like, I'm like, I don't know. They're like, tacos. I'm like, I had tacos last week. They're like, okay, let's go and get insert thing. I'm like, I had it like a month ago. It's like, a month? And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty recent.
Dude, that's just so opposite of me. My girlfriend would be like, "Man, what do you want?" And I'll tell her pizza. It's like, didn't you just have pizza yesterday and the day before? It's like, yeah, but today I'm getting this pizza instead of this pizza. It's like, you're still getting the pepperoni pizza. Yeah, but it's pizza. You don't understand.
Yeah, when you and I lived together, I think there's a reason we shared very few meals in common.
Yeah.
But so I would definitely choose the latter. If anything, it would encourage me to become a better chef. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know for you. I feel like it wouldn't do that. And you'd just be like, okay, if I'm only allowed to do that, every day, then I'm just going to eat one meal a day. And it's going to be a giant fucking thing. That way I only have to worry about 7 meals a week.
No, no. Here's what I do. Today is my 2 pounds of white rice. Tomorrow is my two
Okay.
pounds of black beans. That's how we're doing
So
it.
basically, you're building a burrito over the course of a week, one ingredient at a time.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening.
Today's my 2,000 calories of tortillas.
Oh god. Yeah, it's not very balanced diet. I'm actually gonna probably dying under ear with it, but at least it won't be a problem for all too long.
Yeah, all right. Well,
If I could derail this really quickly with a short anecdote.
go for it.
This week, this week my work had like a Thanksgiving potluck, And one of my favorite foods, just in general, is like green bean casserole, but I only ever have it one time a year at Thanksgiving. And I kind of decided I was going to bring green bean casserole because if no one brings that, I'm gonna be pretty mad because like it's not Thanksgiving without it. Thing is, I've only made green bean casserole once in my entire life.
Hmm.
So like it came out pretty good, but I honestly kind of winged it, made it right before work and everything. So like, cooled off a few hours, came lunchtime and I eat it. And I did not like it. It was very like 5 out of 10, with 5 being average. Like it was the most like average green bean casserole. Nothing stood out about it. But the thing is, like, multiple people complimented me about it. They're like, "Did you make this, or did you make someone else make it? Because it's like really good." One person even told me they don't normally like green bean casserole, but they loved this, and I'm like, "Are y'all memeing on it me because it sucked that much, or is it actually good?" And I just don't recognize my own culinary genius.
Yeah, you're genius, quote unquote.
But yeah, no, it freaked me out. I'm still paranoid about it, but I'm choosing to accept the compliments and hope that it's not, I don't know, not just them being nice.
Jonathan, how would you feel if I told you you just didn't like your slice of the casserole because I put lemon extract on it?
You know what? I believe it. I believe it.
All right, next question. Would you rather live in the same house for the rest of your life or have to move houses every 6 months?
Is this like ignoring issues with employment and everything? Like just like literally just like the fundamental idea of moving?
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to worry about like, well, then I'm going to have to, update the IRS on my living. Just
Okay.
the idea of like, you one way you get very used to a place so you can relax, but at the same time you never have variety, and the other way you can like, have your variety, but you never get to have any long term plans or really soak it in there.
And I never get am I allowed to move back to a place? Like could I just keep bouncing between two places?
No, but if you really wanted it to be that much of like a lazy piece of shit, I would allow you to like just you have a street with, 12 houses on it. You can just jump from house to house to house.
Okay, okay. Realistically, I would I would choose to stay in the same place, I think. Like, it's my immediate gut reaction because I hate moving. I've moved way too many times in my life for how young I am. And there's a period where I moved 3 times in like 6 months. And it is so stressful and exhausting. And I never really want to go through something like that again. So I and then also like I would lose my connections. Like if I see my friends like 6 months and I just have to like move and I never like unless I actually am gonna cheese it with living on the same street, 12 houses kind of thing. Like, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to my friends, goodbye to whatever local restaurants I found that I loved, whatever like, fun things to do in the area. Like I think that'd be heartbreaking. So I think I would prefer to live in the same place. I
I
think.
take the exact opposite route. For me, I get stressed out when I stay in the same place for too long. And for me, the idea that I have to live in the same place, like I would need to vacation a lot to offset that, or I would just need to do the other option, which is move every 6 months. Cause like I can understand the value of like having a place that you like and all that stuff. But once again, like you can do some big moves, but you can also just do like move to the other side of the city, move a little bit over. You don't have to like full on cheese it to do stuff. It doesn't have to be like, now you're in Germany, now you're in Hungary, now you're in Antarctica.
I mean, that's true. I guess if I got to like bounce between like San Diego, LA, try out San Fran for a little bit, like sure, that'd be cool. And then, other places. But even still, oh my God, I'm going to have to live a very lightweight lifestyle, like have enough stuff to fit one room and that's it. Cause like, oh my God, it'd be a nightmare.
Well, haven't you been living in your car for the past 2 years at this point?
Sleeping in, not living in, big difference.
Okay, if you say so.
No, no. Once I get solar panels on it and get little like outlet plugins, no one can stop me.
So when you turn your car into an RV is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Well, for the next question, this one makes a little bit less sense. But Jonathan, would you rather chronically beatbox every time you're nervous, or chronically do meme dances every time you're nervous?
I need to think. Boom, no, I'm just kidding. I think. Oh God. Uh,
Because I love imagining you do this either way. You're at dinner or something, you're nervous, getting ready to ask a girl out, and then you're like, "Oh, so Sarah, I was actually wondering if you," or you can just, "Oh, Sarah, I was wondering if you," and then you just start flossing. And
oh
either way, it just
God.
kills your chances, but it's hilarious to watch.
Well, on the one hand, I hate this hypothetical because my sister's name is Sarah.
I know, that's why I chose that.
Thanks, appreciate it. But on the other hand, I think I would go with beatboxing because, like,
Because
I'll explain it as like a nervous tick. But like, if I get some friends around me who like are supportive, I'll get them to beatbox with me, and we'll kind of look like a posse just rolling up to the girl beatboxing together, and she'll probably be pretty freaked out. Not gonna lie,
so
but
it's pretty much just like one of those flash mobs that were popular like 10 years
yeah.
ago. Is you're at Denny's, at midnight, and you start beatboxing, and then the people at the table behind you, just stand
Yeah,
up, turn around, and then you find out that you guys just go full Backstreet Boys on her.
okay, but like, who wouldn't fall in love with that?
Honestly fair.
I mean, the alternative is everyone just starts doing the fucking Harlem Shake when you're about to knock someone out, and I don't think that's any better. Like,
Oh my god, yeah, that would be great if you had to do the Harlem Shake. All of your meme dances have to be 8 years out of date.
yeah. So, um, I think I would. Oh, actually, though, there's a distinct problem here. What if I get nervous during the podcast? If I'm dancing, you might like hear me further from the mic, but you wouldn't be able to tell. But if I start beatboxing and soon fire, you'd be able to tell.
I guess that's true, but it would be kind of entertaining with the dancing. It's kind of like the, fapping noises in the background that you can hear. You just start hearing like, whoom, whoom, whoom. It's like, oh, I think that Jonathan's flossing. I can hear the air pressure.
How hard am I flossing?
Hard enough to make it go like that, apparently.
Okay, well, I think I'm going with beatboxing, and I'm firm in my answer. What would you choose?
I choose beatboxing as well because, beatboxing is cringy, but you can at least build up skill on that. No matter how good you are at flossing, at the end of the day, you're doing a meme dance.
Hey, tell this to Charlie D'Amelio. I think she literally became super fucking famous off of TikTok dances. Granted,
Well,
not Mimi ones, but still.
there you go. There's the difference. But
Dang.
all right, let's go for the next one now. Jonathan, would you rather never make a new friend but keep the ones that you have for life, or constantly make new friends but you cannot hold a friendship for longer than 2 years?
Definitely the former. I'm done with all of you guys. But no,
Oh,
all
fuck
jokes
you.
aside. Um I think, man, I feel like I get kind of bored without some kind of something new in my life, but it doesn't have to be a friendship. Like, I value my older friendships. Ah, man, I don't know. You've caught me in a period of my life where I'm kind of like, I don't really need a whole ton of social interaction, so it's hard to answer this because I'm like, neither. I need no friends.
Dude, I kind of feel you on that because for me, it's just like, would I rather keep the friends that I have? It's like, I have you and Matthew. And it's like, okay, so would I rather keep two friends or make so many more friends? It's like, damn, it's a
Yeah,
good
but then you'd
question
lose
there.
them anyways.
True.
Shoot. I think. Well, basically, what's happening here, I'm going to reframe this a different way. It's, say you have basically no friends. You have friends at your new job, you move jobs and don't keep in contact with any of them. Like, that's literally just adult problems right there. So basically, do we want to be an adult or do we want to be a kid hanging on their high school connections? I'm going to say. Oh, actually, that kind of put a negative connotation on it, didn't it?
Little bit.
Like, that's framing the question if I've ever heard it. I think I would choose old friends off the top of my head. If anything, just because in general, most of the new people I met have been fine, but like, I don't know, either disappointing in some way or just, we go our separate ways because we met because of circumstance and left because of circumstance. People I'm still friends with, we've clearly shown we can like live through that kind of thing.
I'm
So
glad to
like,
hear that I've never let you down.
yeah, you're like Rick Astley, so I'm gonna choose sticking with my old friends.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, I made a podcast for a reason, and I'm not giving that up. I'm not letting it down.
And you did that solely so I can make more bad episodes and subject you to it.
Exactly.
But what would
Exactly.
you choose?
I would probably choose the same thing, just because I don't know, the idea of I'm fine with having new friends every 2 years, but I'm fine with that only because I know that I have like you and Matthew and some other people as the consistent friends that I've known for like lifelong. So if it's only having those friends for every 2 years, because obviously I would have to lose you and Matthew after 2 years as well,
Mhm.
then it's like, Damn. I mean, it's really easy to contextualize time periods of like, oh, this is when I was here, this is when I was friends with these people. But it really makes the like longevity of your friendships be like, damn, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, are well, this is, like, completely irrelevant to the question, but I'm gonna, like, add it on as a fun hypothetical. Does your answer change if you're aware of the 2-year limit, or or just like, "Huh, it's oddly coincidental that this has been going on for 20 years?"
I don't know. If I could just taste test both of them, I might like one more than the other. But just going off of my instincts at the moment, I gotta go with what I go with.
Okay, fair enough, though knowing that in the back of my mind would be pretty haunting, not gonna lie.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan. Here's my meme question for you. Jonathan, would you rather not have a chain wallet, but everyone thinks you do? Or would you rather
Ooh.
have a chain wallet, but no one thinks you do?
So would I rather have the slander you've been doing against me in this podcast or the opposite? Well, here's the thing. I don't like chain wallets because then when I pull out my wallet, like there's a chain attached to it.
If you
And
don't
like,
like it, then why do you have a chain wallet?
oh my goodness. Then like when people, I don't know, it's just like, it seems like an annoying inconvenience. Like I like chains. I don't like chain wallets. So I think I would rather not have one and everyone think I do because the world already thinks that I do. So I'd rather live my life and be who I am. I'm not changing who I am to be even cooler. What would you pick?
I'd probably go with not have a chain wallet, but everyone thinks I do, just because I love the idea of that meme of just like, how does that even get started? You know?
Like who spread that rumor and why? And why can no one just see that I don't have one?
Yeah,
Like I
exactly.
pull out my wallet, I show them, they're like, "Oh, that's a funny chain you got there."
Yeah, it's like the Patrick and
Oh,
whatever.
Man Ray.
Yeah, Man Ran. It's just like, so this is your my wallet, right? Yes, and it doesn't have a chain, right? Yep, looks that way to me. So I don't have a chain wallet. That makes sense to me. But nope, you have a chain wallet. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck you.
that's exactly the situation. So you know what? I'd actually want this just because I find it funny as hell after a while.
Yeah, it's just like, man, I don't know why I deserve this fate, but I'm not gonna argue it.
Yeah. Oh man, there we go. So thank you for that amazing question that I can't wait to move on from.
Yeah. So my next question, Jonathan, is would you rather know what everyone thinks about you or have everyone be very ambivalent in their feelings so you can't really tell, but you never really know what they feel about you?
Oh god. I
So
don't.
would you rather be cursed with knowledge or cursed with the absence of knowledge?
Ignorance is bliss in some ways, but I feel like I'd be paranoid being like, does this person actually like me? Like, oh man.
But then you got to wonder, if you know why they like you, and it's just like, oh, this guy just likes me because of my, hairy nipples and my chain
He's just like
wallet.
I was about to say chain wallet, damn it. Uh shoot. Also, I feel like there's some things you don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know what my uncle thought of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. So there's those issues, but at the same time, like never knowing if anyone actually likes you or not, or not knowing why they like you or not, because there's the ambivalence that comes in there of the way that they act. So there's no one that's like a straight shooter with you in this scenario.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. So it's not even like this friendship, you'd be like unclear, like I wouldn't be able to tell, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. Sure.
Yeah, like whenever
Oh.
I'm talking about your podcast episodes.
Yeah, yeah. You'll be like, those episodes fucking suck. Oh man, I got a follow up question for you after this. Don't worry. But that aside, I think I would prefer to know exactly what everyone. Ah, yeah, I think I'd choose that because in current day life, like the idea of like love language, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like words of affirmation is pretty low on mine, but like acts of service is pretty high because like I feel like actions are stronger than words. Like you show it, but like if someone like can't give me a straight answer and their actions are confusing, oh, I could trust no one. So I think I would rather be cursed with knowledge. I'd rather be Thanos.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'd choose the same just because it would suck if you have the people that don't like you or anything like that. But at least when you find someone, hopefully, if you find someone that just likes you for who you are, and there's nothing too bad going on there, then you can just like stick with that and live with that, and also probably hopefully you grow numb to the honesty a little bit, where
Yeah.
just constantly never knowing I feel like is just a constant state of hell.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could really cope with that, to be honest. I don't know, you form severe trust issues.
Yeah, yeah, that you would. Did you say that you had a question that you were gonna flip on me?
Yeah, I got one for you. Would you rather have to come up and plan with an episode every single day for this podcast and we record that same day? Or would you rather have only me write and come up with the episodes, but it's only once a week?
I'd rather do the once a day.
Oh, wow.
Well, for two reasons. One is because I hate you.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
Two is because you have a chain wallet.
That's less fair.
But three out of my two reasons is because I feel like we would end up quitting the podcast either way, between those two things. But at least if we're posting daily, like then if I give myself like a month or, if I can put up with it for 6 months, posting daily is going to be enough where it's like, shit, that actually might have enough traction where we'd be able
Yeah.
to take off at some point. Where just once a week with your episodes is like, here's to 5 viewers every week with a topic I hate.
So what I'm hearing is that we need to have you come up with episodes every single day now.
Well, thank God these hypotheticals aren't true, much like you'll see in this next question, which is
Okay.
would you rather shit 10 times a day, but always have them be no wipers, or shit once a day, but it be the messiest shit you've ever taken?
Honestly, absolutely the former. Like, I don't wanna be there's this scene from Parks and Rec where Andy, like, describes wiping like he's wiping the tip of a permanent marker and it just keeps going. I don't wanna experience that. Like, that's just hell, and plus, I think I definitely have digestive issues, like, because I don't go enough. Granted, I'm sure it would swing the other way, like, but, like, I'd rather just oh if I go that often, I'm sure I could get some kind of medical exemption from work, and my work can't say anything. So really, I just get to do the whole company time shitting thing like way too seriously. But I'd be okay with that. Like, think about how much work you'd get out of it. I would love that. So
Honest,
actually, I want this to happen.
yeah, that was actually the exact line of logic that I was thinking. Because for me, my like bowel movement schedule right now is I always need to shit at like 9:40 these days, which
Uh,
is like 40 minutes into work, and then that takes 10 minutes or whatever between just sitting there, taking your time, checking your phone, and all that stuff. So it's
honestly,
just like if you get the medical exemption where it's like, you guys can't give me shit about my shit, then it's just like, okay, well, that's 10 times a day where it's like, hey, they don't know that there are no wipers, so I can stay in here all I need and just shit.
honestly though, like this is just such a perfect thing. We need to find a way to induce this upon ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it would be a little bit awkward though with trying to manage relationships with people of just like, man, does he not like me? Like we've just been hanging out for, 6 hours and he's gone to the bathroom like 7 times.
Is he like texting someone, letting them know that I haven't kidnapped them? We've been going out for like 9 months. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, thank you for that. Very valid question.
All right. So next one. Jonathan, would you rather have immense talent but only at things that no one cares about, or have, passing talent at things that people actually like/respect?
And passing meaning like I couldn't ever like monetize it because it's not good enough. It's like the guy at a
Yeah,
karaoke bar.
yeah, it's like, okay, you're good enough that like people would be like, hey, that guy's not bad, but never anything where people would be like, oh yeah, let's sign a contract. Oh yeah, you're gonna go to like some famous school for this or anything like that.
On the one hand, I think the unique talent could be valuable, like for like a world record thing or whatever, like being those weird people who could squirt milk out of their eyes, or like I don't know, maybe you'll be the guy who can make a golf ball bounce the highest by slamming it on the ground. But like then you just get like literally 2 minutes of internet fame and that's it. I think at least with being somewhat passable at common skills, I could have fun. Like I could play basketball with people and not be a complete wreck. I could be good at karaoke. I could actually be a decent dancer for once. Like I think I would definitely choose that one, to be honest.
Oh, I'm going the exact opposite route because, like,
Really?
Jonathan, how often do you go dancing? How often do you play basketball?
Well, I don't do it because 'cause I'm not talented.
How often do you go bowling, Jonathan? That's the real question here.
Well, I love bowling, unlike you.
Yeah, where like I think it would just be so much more entertaining of just like, yeah, I actually, am the number one person in the world for like juggling a hacky sack only using my testicles, or like
Okay, but don't do that one because that's gonna probably prevent you from, like, functioning properly in a few years.
no, no, but or if you ever watch Adventure Time, there's that weird game that they have where they pick up the ball with their butt cheeks and stuff like that.
Oh,
Like,
that could be valuable.
yeah, so or the perfect example of like real world stuff is there's that Korean guy who does music covers using the screaming chicken and like the rubber screaming chicken. And
Oh, I think I've seen that.
yeah, and like his most viewed videos have like tens of millions of views. So I'm just saying, like, if you're using it as like an entertaining thing, whether it's for your friends or YouTube, then you're gonna be able to like get some real, laughs with your friends or some real views off of just random shit on YouTube. Where like if you're like, hey, I'm pretty okay at piano, I'm pretty okay at dancing. Like if you're Mr. I like to go out and do lots of random tasks with friends who apparently like lots of random things as well, then I guess it's good for your life. But realistically, I don't think I have that, and I don't think you do either. But maybe you do. I don't know.
Well, the biggest thing preventing me is anxiety and knowing that I don't perform, so
Okay.
maybe we have different needs out of this question.
All right. All right. If you say so. Then I have two more questions here for you.
Okay.
All right. Jonathan, this one's a real tough one. At least I think so. Maybe when we actually think about it, it won't be. Would you rather have your body age twice as fast, but your mind half as fast, or vice versa?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So one of my biggest fears is like losing memory or like whatnot because then like I feel like that's really losing who you are. Like everyone's body breaks it down. Granted, it'd be unfortunate if by like 30 I can't even like travel, especially knowing finances and how that all
Especially knowing
works.
your hairline at the age of 23.
That too. But also like god, by age 40, I wouldn't even be able to work and I wouldn't have enough social security like built up from working either. So, oh god, I don't know. Like I want to say I would prefer my body age twice as fast cuz I don't want to lose my sense of self and everything, but then again, what good is being 60 if my mind's a fucking vegetable of being 120?
Yeah, but
So,
also like you being a 60-year-old with that stuff, like you know, Jonathan now doesn't want to be that way, but Jonathan when he's 60 is like feeling great, and yeah, he's got a little bit of some mental ailments, but as a whole, he
some
feels great.
120-year-olds I don't think generally function well like
Well,
mentally.
I don't think there's a huge sample size, Jonathan, so I wouldn't jump ahead with that statement.
I
But
don't think
like,
many of them are
just
jumping at all.
well, you could be at the ripe young age of 120 with the body of a 60-year-old.
Shoot, you're right. Okay. No, I'm choosing body aging twice as fast, and hopefully I just don't have arthritis in my hands so I can like play games and watch Netflix still.
I gotta choose the body aging half as fast because,
Really?
yeah, like I can understand what you're saying about the mind, and maybe you have some of those moments where it's just like as you're fading, where it kind of feels like shit. But like my grandmother had Alzheimer's, not the one that you met, and it's just like, well, going out in her day to day, she's not like, oh, I'm so sad I have Alzheimer's. She's just like, oh shit, I have Alzheimer's. Hey, what did you just say? And it's just like, okay, so if I could just go around feeling really good and all at the same time, you're not guaranteed to get that stuff. Yeah, your mind ages twice as fast, but like, look at Betty White, who nearly lived to 100, and I'm not sure how she was like in her last year, but at the age of 99, 98, or whatever, she still seemed like a funny person, alive and kicking and all that stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you're kind of rolling the dice to see how your mind will age, but just because your mind's, 100 when your body's 50 does not mean necessarily that your mind's going to be completely in the gutters.
That's a valid counter argument. Like I can't necessarily dispute that right off the bat. I could respect the line of thinking there. Really,
Yeah.
the thing that surprises me is I think this is the most we've ever disagreed ever, like, in such a short span.
Dude, I just can't wait for the high school reunion, the 40-year high school reunion, when I come in looking young as fuck, but clearly with some mental issues, and you come in looking just decrepit,
Yeah,
but your mind is just like spry as a
yeah.
spring chicken.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Well, we knew Jonathan had medical issues. We weren't expecting that." And then they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we always thought something was a little off about it."
All right. Well,
Oh,
speaking
man.
of off about people, my last question. Jonathan, would you rather every time you meet a new person have to send them a nude photo of yourself or have them send you a nude photo?
Of themselves, presumably?
Yes.
Oh, man. Like, I know that there's obviously ways this could go very wrong.
Yeah, especially if you end up being a kindergarten teacher.
Oh, fuck, that's actually a really valid point. I would never be able to meet a kid again, otherwise the first kid I meet, I'm fucking going to prison for life, and I'm like, "I didn't encourage this at all."
Well, that's the part about this question is like, wait, that doesn't matter which answer you choose, because whether it's the kid sending it to you or you sending
Oh,
it to the kid,
shit.
you're still going to jail.
You know what? I may as well profit a little bit off of it if
Oh
that's
my
gonna.
god, that's horrible,
No, no,
Jonathan.
wait. Okay, let me clarify. I did not mean by selling the pictures. I
Okay, because that
meant
is what I thought you
no,
meant.
no. I meant if I'm sending pictures, I'm only giving. If I'm getting them, I'm receiving as in profiting. Let me clarify that.
Okay.
Okay, that is a huge point to make there. I did not consider how bad that was going to come out. Okay. Whew. My apologies. Sorry. But what I meant to say was like at least I'm going to get at least theoretically like one or two decent pictures, whereas if I send them out, I'm only sending out cursed photos. Let's be real. So like I think in terms of net damage done to the world, there's less damage done if I'm receiving than giving. Therefore, like consequentialism or whatever it's called, I don't remember, net positive there.
All right, fair enough.
But
Well,
also making money.
yeah, but also making money in questionable means. Well, I'm not a pervert, so I'm not going to answer this question.
Hey, no,
So
you can't do
that's
that.
all we have for this week. So till next time, Jonathan, ta-ta
Hey,
for now.
toot toot for nude.